York City courthouse today, the corruption trial of now former New York Assembly member William Boylan. Just a few hours ago, he was convicted in a federal bribery case. As we've been reporting to you, Boylan had been on trial for accepting bribes and filing bogus expense reports. Joining us now is our political analyst, New York Post state editor Fred Dicker. Fred, thanks for being with us tonight. First, your take on the wanton wrongdoings and today's verdict.
Well, this has become so common that it's just another installment in the ongoing saga of corruption in Albany. Not a big surprise. They really had Bill Boylan nailed with recordings in which he was soliciting bribes in exchange for offering to take official action. So I was just surprised the first time they tried him, he wasn't convicted.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were. Now, does this make any difference? You said, it's just more of the same. But is this a dent, at least, in the fight against political corruption at the Capitol?
I don't think it makes any difference at all. I mean, one of the good government groups, so-called Common Cause, said this is proof of the need of publicly financed elections, as we hear in TV ads running right now. There's no indication that if there was public financing of elections, that that would have made any difference at all. This was a grubby, corrupt individual out to make money. We've seen it over and over again. Pedro Espada's name comes to mind. It really has to do with a culture of corruption down in New York City mainly, where the organs of democracy, as they might have been called years ago, our political system, are seen by so many people as a vehicle to enrich themselves. It's about individuals, it's about local communities holding people accountable. We know down in New York City, as opposed, say, to the Capital District, members of the legislature are often not even known to the local people. Very few people even turn out in elections down there. So the possibility for corruption becomes all the greater because there's so little scrutiny that takes place.
Now, Fred, that district in Brooklyn now has no representation. There are, I think, 10 empty seats right now in the Assembly. That's a lot of people without representation, but a special election is costly. Will we see one? Will some of these seats be filled?
Well, there are so many open seats now that I think Governor Cuomo really has to respond to the pressure that is being applied to him because people aren't being represented. That said, we all know at the Capitol, and I'm sure other people know as well, that if you're a mere freshman legislator elected to Albany, say, in a special election, you really don't have much clout at all. And there are people in the Senate from Brooklyn who can look after Brooklyn's interests, and arguably the governor, of course, would be concerned about that as well. So I don't think it really makes that much of a difference one way or another, but the pressure is there because there are so many empty seats for special elections.
All right, Fred, as always, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And don't forget, you can hear Fred's radio program live from the state capitol every weekday morning from 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM.